Not shows I'm live on my phone, but there's an update on the laptop. There we go. It's not very clear, but how's everyone going that's on here already? All four of you. Probably three of you, because one will be my laptop. Hey, corn-fed. Yep, you made it first. Commented first. How's your weekend been? How's Ethel going? That's good. Quacker dog. Is that how you pronounce it? Cheers for jumping on anyway, Big Ev. It's good to have you here. Chasing a washer in the injector hole, number 6. Oh god, that washer doesn't sound like it'd be a fun spot to get to, especially with everything you got going on in that engine bay. That's alright, Cornfed. Hopefully you're getting a bit of relaxation and sleep. Quacker dog. That's one hell of a YouTube name you got there. Ethel's doing Ethel things. Love it. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, fair point. You and relax don't go in the same sentence together. Forever grinding. Might start this up on the stream later on once we ramp up to the usual, hopefully the usual big amount of viewers. Cheers Cam, it'll be 10 times better once it's actually getting tuned properly and we can go all the way to limiter. That was just a little baby. Paul was bedding the rings in and roughly up to 15 psi, which was like 3,500 RPM or something. That makes sense then. It came from Kawasaki. Yeah, she's definitely cute. But there'll be a bigger one going on there. Don't worry about that. It'll come. I just want to find out what this one maxes out for the guy who built it for me. Be interesting to see because he's mainly a Ford guy, so he builds it for Fords, and then I came along for a baby little Ecojet. So yeah, let's see what she makes. I'm just absolutely stoked I had no issues on the dyno. Like I was expecting something to go wrong, like, but everything went flawlessly. So that was an absolute bloody miracle. Hey, Sleep Big F, what was it, the one that got dropped, or you were trying to replace something? Yeah, I'm stoked with that. dropped putting in fuel rails. Oh, yeah. Lucky you found it though, otherwise it could be a sleepless night or two just thinking where the fuck is it? Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 PSI corn fed. That's about it though, for another 2000 RPM. At least you would be playing catch up. I should be able to get way ahead. This thing will be on a song a lot earlier than yours and you'll be playing catch up, and I'll just have to pray there isn't enough road for you to catch up. L67 life, yeah, that's it. Sadly, my L67 build's come to an end. The HLO plate went this morning. The guy who drifts locally is much more needed than I am, so I solved that, and this still has something else coming that I need to fund, so it's going towards that. I've got to part out the rest of it now. Yeah, 7 PSI of gas. Yeah, nah, don't need gas. At least I've hidden where I'm sitting. You can't kind of see all the junk that's that direction, and kind of just behind me looks like a clean big garage. The V looks super shiny on the camera though, which is nice. Yeah, well, after talking with Justin and my next turbo choice, I think I'm going to be going a lot bigger than I initially was, and we will be spraying it. So yeah, it's going to happen. The VY looks pretty good at camera too. I don't know if you guys can. No, I don't think you can, but there's a nice scrape just there on the bumper. That's a good way to talk about it. Makes everything better till it doesn't. I can get around that. Well, judging how things are going, this might be a shorter stream today. I only got 8 people on, usually get 20 plus at a time, so I might just do it for an hour or two and fuck off and do my own things. I might even take this for a drive. E85 Adam, so dedicated E85. I'm pretty lucky there's a servo, a United servo that sells it just 3 minutes from my house, so it's pretty good. They boosted for, I don't know, I wasn't at Redcliffe, and went into Fremantle to Clancy's Fish Bar, whatever it's called, with Misso's parents for some lunch and a few drinks. No Redcliffe for me today, mate. I'll save the skimpies for another night. I run 2200cc injectors in this. For my power level, I would get away with 1650s, which my tuner did want me to change to, but I'll be going for more power not on this setup, but the next setup I'll be going for more power than the 1650s can handle. So we might be looking into going dual row of injectors, because he's not a fan of the 2200s because they're the LPG ones, and not the proper Dyno ones. That's a future me problem. For now, it still gets tuned fine on the 2200s, and yeah, I'll probably even stay with 2200s. But we'll see. End of the day, got to make the tuner happy. He knows what he likes using and whatnot. So, yeah, I believe I got them from Sonic. Adam as well, in case you're wondering for your own setup. I don't know what your deal is, but back when I was running around 600 horsepower, I could get away with 1000cc Bosch injectors on the 85, so you don't need huge ones. Yeah, Confed, I believe I got the link, or the place that you got them from off you anyway, because I asked you and then you told me where, and that's why I ended up getting mine. Yeah, Booster Toronto, Justin's good. He is the man. I wouldn't go to anyone else. Okay, yeah, if you're running meth, then yeah, you would either need the 2200s, or you'd want to go to the Siemens. I think they do 2600s. I think they even do 3200s, depending on your power goals and what you use. That would probably be what you'd be looking at for meth anyway. Hey Baz, how's it going? Yeah, confident. True. You go your own tuner, you pick what you want, what you like to use, and just deal with what you got. That's good, Baz. Been busy? You had some time off on the weekend, or are you still slaving away? Boosted. Have a good look online. YouTube has quite a fair few good videos, and some forums as well, good places. Like, even if certain things don't necessarily have exactly um, what you need or what you're asking, it's still good to read people's problems they're having and what solutions people have, because that might lead to helping you with your issue or what you need to learn or something in the future. So if you're still interested in learning, that's probably what I would suggest is, yeah, do some research, watch some videos, and have a crack. Ah, bloody Thomas at it again, eh? Bloody Thomas indeed. At least his build's going to end up absolutely insane if it's ever done, but it's awesome watching the progress in that, because it's quite cool with the stuff that's getting done. So on this baby turbo, um, my goal is anywhere that starts with an 8, so 800 plus. I will settle for 750 plus. It's only a custom 70 millimeter, 7084 millimeter on the front. That's a GT35 frame. So yeah, 750 I'll walk away happily with, but what I ideally want is 800 plus. If I could crack 850, I'd be stoked. Um, yeah, even if we can just get that on the dyno, and then we can, if the turbo's way more than tapped out, Just want to max the turbo out in the dyno if Justin's happy, get that figure, so see what the turbo will make, and then we can turn it down to where it's not way out of its efficiency range and the IATs aren't through the roof. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, boosted Ecotechs are starting to become rare in quite a fair few places. They're not as common and prices are going up, but they are still around. I think a lot of the speedway guys get them as much as possible. That's pretty cool, Baz. At least you know all the effort and hard work is, you know, translating to the real world there. Going up and down in numbers. Keep going, bouncing up to 12, down at 8 and 12, and still not back to where we were. Do you know if Thomas is going to stick to the M90 or does he have plans to go Whipple later on? Oh, that'd be cool. Has anyone maxed out the N122 yet, or know whether they run out of efficiency, I guess? Because I haven't really seen too much on them, but it would be pretty cool to see some stuff done on that. Yeah, Adam, it's got forged pistons and rods in it. And what do you mean by what cam setup am I running on tubes? What injectors did you go this time, Big Ev? Oh, that's alright, so bigger displacement for not, utilising as much power. It's pretty good. Like, you've maxed out the Whipple already. Oh, sweet, I'll keep an eye out for that. Yeah, the cam's custom grind. So Nathan Kyrie, who works at Canaris Engines, is also the guy who sorted out the top end for Jet V6, the 1200 plus horsepower Ecotech. I got him to do my heads, so the heads have been, I've had everything done to it that they can for the standard casting, and I got him to spec me up a cam, which is stupidly big. Like, it's bigger than lots of what most people put in their LSs and whatnot. But yeah, custom cam. Like, I think, yeah, it was Crow Cams that he got to grind it as well. A custom billet cam. You might need to design a tensioner, or as people say, a 10 rib Ev. Oh, you got a plan for it? Sweet. That'll be cool to see what you come up with to see if it eliminates it. triple row chain driven. Jesus. As long as you don't get the chains from an Alloy-Tech, should be all good. Starting to rain, which is nice. Haven't had rain here in a while. No dramas, Baz. I'll see you back soon. Yeah, old Amy. Can never go wrong. It's a bit icy, so I got a stubby cooler today, but love it. Adam, I'm running a T56 out of a VT to VZ LS1, whatever car it came out of, I'm not sure. No times on this setup. This has only just been on the dyno to bed the rings in, so it still hasn't had its full power on. On my old setup, when I maxed out my old turbo at 568. The turbine wheel was like half gone. I get peaked hard at 568, and then it just declined quickly from there. I ran a 12.7 at 126 mile per hour. It was shit. The diff gave up. I was doing single peggers in the burnouts, and the single pegged half the strip. The excuses aside, it was slow anyway. The mile per hour was half decent. I'd also blown out an exhaust gasket too, actually, so I was 2 psi down in boost. I was tuned to 24 psi, and the boost gauge showed 22 psi at max, and then it tapered down to 16 very quickly after peaking there. But yeah, it didn't go fast, well, quick. But hopefully this setup here, if I can crack a 10, I'd be amazed. If I get a low 11, it'll be pretty good, because I've got a lot of work on launches that I need to do. I'll take as much as rain as possible. It means I don't go through tyres as much. And rain means cold. I hate the heat. Give me the cold any day. In the future, as well, Adam, you might actually get to see Corn Fed and myself's car lined up next to each other at the drag strip, which will be pretty cool. You guys still having floods over there? Jesus. Like I talk about rain, it's slowing down. When's your next live stream, Confed? Because it's been a couple of weeks now, hasn't it? Lovely. All the P-platers out the front, wet lapping. I don't know if you guys can hear the horn and cars revving their tits off. At this power level, the crank girdle isn't needed. There's certain setups that will need it. I won't go too much into detail about that just yet, because I don't want to give it away, but yeah. Yeah, some can need a dip. Sweet, next Friday, cool. Looking forward to that. I might, it depends if I'm still doing 14 hours at work. So I might actually miss your whole stream, to be honest, because I finish at 7 PM and your stream starts at my 5 PM. So yeah, but we'll see. I'll try sneak it. Well, what an interesting stream. Full on in the comments section. Yeah, right, been raining that much. Yeah, the old sneaky. I try to do it as much as I can. So far as I'm aware, the standard L67 block, I think he had ARP rod bolts though. I'm not 100% sure. I know he had ARP head studs definitely, but it went 140 mile per hour in a VH, I think it is, which roughly translates to about 740, 750 horsepower. Um, yeah, so say 650 to 750 horsepower they've been tested with a dyno. No, I haven't driven it yet. I might drive it after this stream. If not, 100% tomorrow. I'll just fuck waiting for night. I'll just go for a drive through a day. Yeah, boosted 400, that would be good, but it would be very difficult to sort out. Like, it's costly transporting a car, and no one's going to drive a performance car that far. Yeah. Hey Josh, Pulsar turbos seem to be great so far. I haven't obviously had any experience myself in them, so I can't discuss how they spool. If they spool slower than say they mainly copy Garrett, so than a Garrett, but I actually was going to be upgrading to a Pulsar G42. Maybe I might on this setup with the manual still and see how laggy it is, but I'll be going a lot bigger than that now on what's coming in the future. But so far I think they're great turbos. I've been in contact with the Australian distributor a couple times, try to sort something out. Obviously I'm not a big channel or anything, so I don't expect anything, but it's just good to touch base, and yeah, but I might still run one anyway, we'll see. Brett, there's issues of doing it cheap because people do it really cheap and then don't get the most important thing done, which is a tune, and then they badmouth it or have issues and it gets a bad name. Honestly, the cheapest you could probably go where it's actually decent would be around the $5,000 mark, I could think. And once again, it all comes down to what parts you get. Like, you could go a $300 eBay turbo, or you could go a Pulsar one for $1,000, or then you could go a genuine for a couple grand. So that changes the budget a lot. But you should definitely get a decent set of turbo manifolds, because you can grow with them. So yeah, say you do get a $300 piece of shit turbo, but if you've got a $1,000 or $2,000 turbo manifolds, you can go get a $1,000, $2,000 turbo, whack it on, and those turbo manifolds won't be limiting you. Whereas if you get cheap pieces of crap, then that will limit you a lot as well. I mean, you're up for a lot of money again. You might have paid $500 for those turbo manifolds, but now you're up for $1,500 for new ones. So now you're $2,000 down the hole, when you could have just got some for $1,000 or $2,000 straight up, and you're already there. So there's different ways to skin a cat, as they say, but if I can recommend something on the cheap, get some corn-fed boost log manifolds, find a BA, BF or a F6 turbo. They're internally gated. They will still go up to 550-ish horsepower. So get that on. Get some Siemens Decker 60-pound injectors or Bosch 1000 cc's, 105 LBS, so pound valve springs, ARP head studs, a Walbro 460 fuel pump and a tune. That there should be around the $5,000 mark, and that combination there will get you about 500 horsepower, provided your clutch, if manual, or the auto box will hold that. Well, that's it, come on, for the price of your turbo manifolds are very well priced, especially for what you get, which is decent quality. But yeah, some people have piece of shit things up there that are like, yeah, close to that price, especially what you see on eBay where people pay like $460 for just the passenger side manifold, and you still have to make it the crossover to meet up to the factory driver's side manifold, and that doesn't flow well at all. Like that stainless, I've heard they crack as well, being that crappy stainless material. Oh, and common so Josh is running about 30 psi in that. Then again, it is a half decent sized turbo with an auto, so yeah, it makes sense. No dramas, Brett. Sorry, it was a very long-winded response, but I just have to say it because a lot of people will just go cheap. Yeah, but yeah, we do. We took the easy route and sub to turbo on and make power and torque easy. Oh really? So they cook leads as well. Oh, at least he booked in for collectors, not a log manifold, but not too sure just yet, Adam. I'll see when these heads here become a restriction. Spend a lot of money on them, and by a lot I mean more than what people spend on the whole turbo build. But I would like to put alloy heads in them, but you're paying like $3.5 to $4,000 just for the casting without porting, and then you still got another $2 to $3,000 on top of that to get them to the same kind of level as where these casted ones are. But I mean, obviously you can go a lot further with them and this and that, but yeah, it gets very costly very quickly. I've still got a backyard in my house to do, so yeah. As much as I'd love to just keep throwing money at this, I need to kind of get other things done too. Yeah, Big Ev, you and I will have a competition, see who gets to 600 first, because I cannot seem to break that 600 mark no matter what I do. But like I said at the beginning of the stream, had no issues on my dyno for the braking this time, so my fingers are crossed that when I go back, this will be the time that I make 600 plus, finally break that curse. Yeah, that's it. I haven't actually seen anyone else that's got collector manifolds from you build go ahead. Everyone seems to buy them, spend all that money, and then just bail on the build, which is crazy. There's been a lot of that. They've spent thousands on parts and then they just bail. And they basically had everything, I just need to slap it all together. You were pretty close to 600 last time, weren't you, Ev? Adam, before I was running the L98, L77 style coils. This time I'm running the IGN 1A coils. I bought them from Haltech, so I got the Haltech branded sticker on it. But yeah, that's what I run at the moment, and a Link Fury ECU controls of that and the motor and everything else. Hey Nitro, how far away are you from getting yours started, Nitro? Yeah, it's it, going fed. It just baffles me. Like, there's so many people ordering manifolds, and then I don't see anything about it after that. And then 3 months down the track, I'm like, oh, that name looks familiar. And then I'm like, oh, those manifolds look familiar. And yeah, corn-fed boost manifolds for sale. I'm just like, you fucking serious? Sweet. I know Lucas will go through with it, so that's good. It'll be another one. Where I'm working at the moment isn't actually too far from him. I think it's like an hour and a half drive or something ish. Maybe one swing I'll have to pop by his and have a look at what he's got going on. That's it. Lead them to water, but they'll always go towards export. Has Lucas said if he's picked a turbo yet? I don't remember. Got a shit memory. I think it's stopped raining. I won't be able to go for a drive later. And export is a way of life. No zero overheating problems, which is one of the things I was actually expecting to come across on the dyno, because I've got everything new. I've got electric water pump this time, I've got a different radiator, I've got different rad pipes, I've got a different turbo water line routing, different thermostat, and from what I saw when I was poking my head through the window, is nothing really got above like 84 degrees, which is insane. So far, no heating issues at all. So yeah, so that's the same one you got on the B-Mag W, isn't it? Oh, Dylan Francis is finally getting back into an eco build, is he? If it's the right guy I'm thinking of, it was ages ago. I was talking to him quite a fair bit, and then he just bailed when he started his like digital drifting thing. So it's good to see that he's getting back in it. Yeah, so much heat in the day. Wiring, it's one of those things that people don't realise. It takes a lot of time, especially when you do things properly and neatly. You're just like, oh yeah, I've just got these 4 wires to join. Next minute, an hour's passed, an hour and a half's passed, and you're just like, how? It just happens. Yeah, corn-fed Dylan Francis is his online virtual racing things, the Como Man, I believe from memory. I think he ended up buying, or he was drifting like the gold colour VX type thing. He took it to a drift event or two, I believe, from memory, and then he kind of stopped. But he was, yeah, it was talking. This is probably going back 2 years now, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it was. But it's good to see that he's finally getting back into it. Yeah, just 4 wires would be nice. What ECU did you go? Was it Haltech? I can't remember. Adam, so I bought a Plasma Man intercooler, the LS series intercooler, because same chassis, so it fits. I've always been air to air before. I'm not sure what brand it was, but I had zero IAT issues. But the Plasma Man's obviously just been Plasma Man. It's bigger, it flows well and whatnot. So hopefully I'll see that not be maxed out. Otherwise, I will have to cut a lot of the bumper and other stuff out and go a thicker core, I believe. Big Eb, so I wasn't operating on the dyno, Justin was, as it's his dyno. He said maybe I set it up wrong because you really had to yank it to get into gear. That's all I've had experience with on there. I was aware you had to use it. He's tuned a drift car. It was a S13 with an LSA in it, and they put an S1 sequential shifter on it, and apparently that had a couple issues on the setup. They didn't install it correct or set it up right or whatever. But after he said, yeah, you have to yank on it to get it into gear, which I thought was normal. There was no issues, and I only drove it down the street of his workshop to turn around and get back up on the trailer. It was fine. So hope tonight, or if not tomorrow at the very least, I'll go on the first drive and I'll be filming it and see. But so far the shifter feels amazing. Like, it's awesome. You get a nice clunk as well of the mechanism when you yank on it. Yeah, even 10 wires would be a drag, especially when you go wiring in all sensors and new spots and whatnot. Yeah, it's handy when you just piggyback though, Josh. You got everything already there in your footwell, which makes it nice when you're using all factory sensors and whatnot. But when you go completely custom and whatnot, you're feeding everything: power, like sensor ground, signal wire. Then you've got relays to put wire up and then send power through and out and whatnot. It adds up very quickly, especially if you do it right. Well, that's the thing, Josh. When you piggyback as well, everything becomes very clustered, so it can be difficult to hide it and make tidy, but it's possible. Oh shit, so you went all out. You got all the stuff going. IO box, IC7 dash, 8-button keypad. That'd be cool. What are you thinking of using on the keypad? I've always been intrigued with them because they're quite cool. Especially with the multi-functions, and you can use and set up 2 keys to control one thing and this and that. AVX Wag's not bad. How about yourself? Yeah, I'm glad you've had no more issues, especially after you fixed that exhaust leak. You just need to whack those bigger injectors in and get it back to a tuner and get your 400 plus. Pray the clutch holds on. Oh, killer, what car's that? Well, Confed, if you do buy one, let me know. I'll fly over and I'll wire it up for you. I'll hate every second of it, but feed me beers and I'll do it. I'll work like a dog till it's done. Oh, Datsun 260, that'd be killer. Are you thinking of changing the engine platform in it? Hey Leroy, no worries. This is all the reason for this live stream. Ask as many questions as you want or need. So I'm using a Link G4 Plus Theory ECU. I'm thinking about upgrading to a Thunder because it has more inputs and outputs, and I've used up all the inputs and outputs on the Theory. Rods, I don't actually know exactly what rods they are. The bottom end's actually second hand. I bought it in pieces, so the motor had been back to a machine shop, and then I sent it to another machine shop because my engine builder wasn't happy with the honing. But I got sent all the invoices. This motor was originally built from my tuner, but the invoice said 4340 rods. It's the same ones that he has used in his personal Whippled L67, and there was a CV6, so a factory V6 Monaro that was turbo that ended up making like 730. I think I had those rods in it. That was through an auto, so probably 800 if it was a manual. And JE forged pistons, but my previous forged motor was spool rods and JE forged pistons, which is the exact same setup that Cornfed Boost runs, and he made 846 in a manual and is now in the 900 plus range for reference. Oh, looks like you're wiring your own shit then, Cornfed. You're not feeding me export. Yeah, Killer, hopefully the bank's on your side then. Yeah, see, Cornfed spool rods are the go. Oh, I haven't heard of anyone having any issues with them. And when my timing chain snapped and it dropped a valve, didn't bend the rod either. So yeah. No, you can get them in 9s with less than 900 horsepower. Yeah, boosted phono, it's not hard to wire a PDM up, it's just a lot of wiring. Some people will see all the wires, like if you have obviously the plugs can go in, they'll see all that, and then they'll get cluster fucked basically, or if you have a big sheet for a pin out where you can ride on, they'll see all that and then they'll stress out and whatnot because they haven't done it before. But it's not difficult, it's just, yeah, sometimes there's a lot and you just have to take it chunk by chunk. Sometimes you just have to focus on, alright, I'm just wiring injectors, just wiring coils, I'm just wiring anything to do with the throttle body, I'm just wiring anything to do with oil sensors, anything to do with coolant, or anything just to do with sensors. You just got to take it in chunks and focus just on that, and it makes it a lot easier because it's not something like this that you're worrying about. It's just this little tunnel vision bit. That's all you got to stress about. What rod was that you snapped? Big Ev. From what I've heard, WA is the most expensive for E85 still. Apparently everywhere else is like $1.60, $1.70, $1.80. We are still at $2.19 a litre. It has been $2.10 for like the last 3 or 4 years, and when all the fuel prices went up, it went up to $2.19 for whatever fucking reason. I don't really care. It's just the price that it is, but yeah. I would stay away from a stage 3 can kit from Mace to begin with anyway. But rods and pistons, I would stick with the factory L67 rods and pistons. If you are dead set on going forged, then the spool rods and the JE pistons. $1.99 in British, so that's way better. We even had that here for like 7 years. It's always been, yeah, well, not always, but it's been above $2 for that long. $1.10 for the 85. Jesus. I remember before I went E85 and this, it used to be cheaper than 98 and whatnot. And then obviously by the time I was ready to do that, it was more expensive. I think I was paying like $1.70 or $1.80 when I first went E85, and it went up to like $1.90, then it was $1.99, and then it was $2.10, and it sat there for ages until this most recent bullshit. Yep, as Cornfed said, Mace kits are rubbish. There's a lot better out there. Yeah, right, so you snapped a spool rod. That's the first I've heard. It's good to know though, because like I said before, I haven't heard of any, so now I have. E10 is junk, don't ever run that in your car, ever. And E85 should be cheaper because there's less oil in it. And in E10, there's a lot more oil. You got 10% ethanol, 90% petroleum, whatever you want to call it. 80 cents. Jeez, you must be bloody old, Ev. Yeah, that's it, Boosted. You just got to break it up. I'm a Sparky by trade. That's my day job as well. So wiring's next to nothing for me. I personally break it up just so that I don't get sick of it and walk away. It's like, I've only got this small task to do. But then obviously once I've done, I have the mindset kind of thing where I start something, I don't stop till it's done. I'll just keep going and going and going and going. Like I don't stop for drinks, don't eat or anything, I just keep going. So when it comes to wiring, I'm the same. Like I'll do one little section, I'll get that done, I'll jump straight to the next one and get that done, and the next one, and whatnot. But yeah. $1.17. Oh. Went up due to transport costs. I guess in a way that makes sense, but still, no. Yeah, it is. Especially because it's, well, isn't meant to be better for an environment because it burns cleaner, it's not harmful to the environment to make or this and that. And then obviously there's everything else around it as well, smells better, makes more power, that's just for us though. But there's literally nothing negative that I know of about creating E85. Yeah, that would be good if it was a competitor, but I think it would be a risky move at first to who tests it to see if the E85 is just as good. What do you mean VX by suggest to run with the spool rods and J pistons to get the most bang for buck? Like what is your goal? What are you using the car for? What is your power that figure that you're looking for? That's probably the best way to start rather than just what parts or whatever. 10-year loss of license, fuck that. Yeah, all sensors are 5 volt, 5 volt reference. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Not all your sensors are 5 volt. Like, what sensors are yours use 12 apart from the cam and crank? If your car's for drift, is it a lot of twisty infield type stuff, or is there not many long straights and long sweeping turns? Because that will change whether you should go turbo or stick to the M90, or even just stick to Eco. And that's bad boosted. Fucking Link ECUs come with 3 feeds that they can put out. They can put out a 5 volt feed, an 8 volt feed, and a 12 volt feed. So yeah, that'll confuse people that haven't wired before. Especially considering that our platform doesn't use 8 volt at all. Well, the crank and cam sensors can run off 8 volt as well, but why would you? Oh really? Is that the Haltech Flex Fuel? That runs off 12. That's interesting. It's handy to know. Yeah, I don't know what car uses 8 volt, but I know because obviously Link being what do you call it, from New Zealand and whatnot, maybe something to do with rotaries use 8 volt, so they're catered towards that. I don't know. say what again? Boosted? Yeah, it could have been Euro Trash, but I don't think many people use Link in there. Maybe a couple Beamer guys do that are in the drift scene. I know obviously Link ECU is the main sponsor for Pro 2 in FD drifting. So in Pro 2, every car has to use a Link ECU. That's part of the requirements, I believe, now, I think. Not too sure. But yeah, as far as I've seen, only a few Beamer guys have used Link. And yeah, maybe they use 8 volt for a couple of things, but nothing I've come across. Oh, so boosted, because I run a Link ECU Link. You know how usually ECUs either have 12 volt or 5 volt. The Link ECU also is able to supply an 8 volt feed out as well. So if anyone's new to wiring, especially when it comes to ECUs and cars and whatnot, then that 8 volt feed could confuse them. They're thinking, oh, if it has it, I'm meant to use it, kind of thing, because they don't know that they don't need to. Yeah, there's heaps of distributors in Australia that do Link, but not many. Like I'm just saying, in the Euro scene, there's not many Euro cars or platforms that actually use a Link ECU. Oh, does it? Saltec has it too. Yeah, right. It must be a Hall effect sensor type thing then. Don't know how, but I got some water on the laptop. It's dripping straight down the screen. Yeah, because your tuner knows fuck all, that's why. Yes, if you're just doing tight stuff, you'd be fine with a standard Ecotech. Or if your car's L67, you'd be fine with a standard L67. I wouldn't go whacking forged pistons and rods in it because you're up to 3.5 to 4 grand right there, including machining and whatnot. They're both are completely fine. Yeah, nitro for wheel speed sensors, you usually just run 12. The factory wheel speed sensors, you run a sensor ground to it, and then you hook it up to your sensor ground. I think that's what Heltec called as well. Sensor ground to it, and then you run the sensor wire to it, and the speed sensor creates a voltage each time that it hits the tooth or whatever on the rear diff, or I don't know what it is on the front hubs, but yeah, you don't run voltage to it, you run a sensor ground and then signal wire. It's the same with the speedo from a T56 as well. You feed it ground and it creates the voltage, and then that voltage turns into a frequency, or the ECU reads as a frequency or whatever. Oh yeah, or as Colin Fed said, just ground it. You don't need to use a ECU sensor ground. I just do that for everything that goes in. It's just my personal preference, but everyone has their own way. Yeah, same. Just I think some ECUs get shitty if they see a sensor giving like a wire from a sensor giving a reading, but I don't have the sensor ground signal there to reference it from. Um, I've never had that issue, but I've read about it online, so I just do it because I'm creating a new volume anyway, so I might as well run the wire with it and then I know I won't have issues. That's one hell of a name, Craig Nowakowski. Hello Pumpkin, do you want a VU Super U Lizard Plated? I think I know exactly who that is. The Pumpkin gave it away. It's probably some faggot that wears a fucking goatee. Shed skid will be once it's properly tuned. There's no point doing a shed skid when I'm limited to like 3,500 RPM. Not going to be much smoke, not going to be too cool, and it's just hitting boost cut. Shed skid's coming. What'll be really cool though is my neighbour, when he moves in once the builders finally fucking hurry up, he's got a big burnout VF sedan with a big blower out the hood. He's got a LSX block and I think it's an 871 blower, it might be 6. No, I'm pretty sure it's 871 blower out the hood, so we're going to do a side-by-side garage skid, so hopefully that'll line up with a live stream. I'll do it on there. If not, I'll film it and I'll go on my YouTube channel like normal. Wagons actually help as well because when you throw it around, it's got that little bit of extra weight to send the rear end out. So once you start doing it, you'll learn with the throw and catching of the steering wheel. You'll learn the right point to catch the wheel, and then the throttle control will keep you the angle that you want. Oh, okay. You might have to hit up Carrillo Rods to see if they can do a custom rod for you to suit that. I'm not too sure. And Craig, no wife, not married. Yeah, it's enough to run in, but the boost cuts at 15 psi, and it'll hit 15 psi by 3,500, 4,000 RPM, and it's going to be a pretty shit skid. Don't worry about it, shed skid's coming. I'll even top it. I'll do one in this, and I'll get in that, and I'll do one in that. So you'll get 2 shed skids. I just have to make sure I start them before the stream and get them warm so I can just jump in and rape them. I ain't skidding a fucking cold car. Now, what are those bids? I know a few guys who have carbied an Ecojet, just a standard for a skidder, and I know a couple speedway guys in that class have done it too, but still a carby. The air fire's the way to go. See this in the camera. First time, close enough. So what's everyone's plans for tomorrow? Back to work? Hey Jade, is that the post or video, whatever, that popped up recently? That seemed like a full, like, tube chassis drag car, like a top fuel style thing. Working them all like lovely. Yeah, I saw that pop up. I didn't bother clicking on it and watching it. Yeah, Nitro, the Speedway guys, their standard bottom end's got the camshaft. The only thing they got to change them really is the camshaft. Like they're not even allowed to tune them or anything. But I think they can deck the heads, and I think they can port the heads as well. I think it changes state to state. I don't know, the camshafts they put in them are insane. They need to rev basically, and I think the only thing I've got to change on them is the limiter. Hey Flounder, so I converted to an electric power steering from an Astra. I could hold an Astra or Vauxhall Astra, depending on whatever country you come from. Yeah, so deleted everything like that, installed an Astra pump, ordered the power steering high pressure lines and fittings, put them in, wired and then wired it all in, and it's great. Haven't had any issues. Yeah, Comfort, that's my guess as well, that it's one of the Grand National Buicks, not the Buick that we got. A lot of people seem to think that their Buicks are the same as ours. Like, oh, look, this car made 1200 horsepower 30 years ago. It's like, no, different motor, fuck off. I haven't used any myself, Craig, but as far as I'm aware, there's a couple good machine shops around and whatnot that would have. I know that Engine Machining Services, or EMS, they have a flow bench, and I assume every other major one does. Like there's Applied Automotive. I think I could Applied Automotive, but they're one of the best machine shops in Perth. And then there's also Galloway's down in Mandurah, Pinjarra way. I'm sure they would too, along with others. Fucking hell. Yeah, those Speedway motors aren't cheap. I looked into one when I blew up my first stocker, and it was about $4.5 to $5 back then. It wasn't worth it. I'm hoping to spend to 7,500, maybe 7.6. This CAN combination and heads and turbo they want to rev, so it's going to have to spin pretty high to make the power anyway. So yeah, hopefully about 7,500. A few people have it. There's different cranks, Adam. You need to have the right crank for it to last. Basically, a lot of people have snapped them. I haven't actually driven it yet, Jake. I was meant to drive it last night, but by the time I got home after my grandmother's 80th, there was actually cops up and down my street with their lights flashing, trying to, I'm assuming, try to find some kids that have done something or whatever. So it wasn't worth going out for a drive to risk getting it defected. So probably after this stream, I might go for a drive. So I've only literally driven off the dyno down the end of the street from Justin's workshop at BYE and then back up the street to the trailer, and that was like no more than 20 k's an hour just putting along basically, because to drive down to the end of the hill and I haven't used the brakes yet after I did the ABS delete and bled them, so I wasn't sure. I wasn't going to go hammer and tongs just to write the car off at the end of the fucking hill, but I'll find out soon. I know Justin's tunes and it will be fine, so I can't wait. My dog's what's that? My dog's tie. Another one hell of a name. Fucking hell. Yeah, it's at Craig. They are all stock bottom and they are snowboarding as well. Alright, so yeah. So they just slap a cam in it, essentially. Because they run the VR ECUs as well, don't they? They don't run the Eco one. Because the VR has no VATs or anything, so just give it constant 12 volts, ground and an ignition source. Like a switch 12 volt source and you'll run. VR has VATs. Yeah, right. I've moved ECUs between VRs and they've all started and driven. Am I thinking of VN? Maybe it was VN. Right, yeah. Cheers, Cam. So yeah, VN. That's what I was thinking of. I kind of switch off as soon as I see a Buick and just like, I'm just going to mag it. Yeah, sun's going down now. Yeah, right. So VR was the first of that. Wasn't there also in the passenger side front of a doorway or something, a little key you could turn for security or whatever? And yeah, MVRAM, you can still get it from Gareth, I think it is, on PCM Hacking and Antis. Highest HP Ecotech in Oz is Jet V6, which made like 1280 horsepower. I only ginger in the beard, mate. Oh, doesn't he? Alright. So just from Gareth then. Cheers, Matt. No special mods, it's just the high intake grafted on. They don't need porting or anything. Well, I haven't got to the point where it needs porting or anything. I know some people do it, but there are also people that make 250 horsepower and then blow it up because they didn't tune it. So, inconclusive from what I know. Someone else on this stream might be able to chime in if they have more knowledge on it. No idea which wire intake manifold flows better, to be honest. But obviously work a different way, being Eco has runners, or runners per se, whereas L67 doesn't. L67 might be easier to have like a low or rise or different style intake on it. Yeah. Yeah, same here, Confetter. I'm not going to port mine. One, because I'm too lazy to, and I'll just force air through it. Until someone tells me to do it, who knows what they're doing. And yeah. What ECU are you, what's your factory ECU boosted for, Runner? Like what car did it come out of? That's it, no replacement for displacement. Well, yep. And then people superchargers, and then nitrous, and then 20. I mean, if you're smart, you'll do both. You'll have displacement and replacement. Half the time it isn't needed though, Matt. The factory ECU is actually capable for 800 horsepower and 3 bar boost, so 29.5 psi. 800 horsepower is a guesstimate for what you would get at around 29.5 psi, give or take. We're interested to see your results, Nitro, more, not so much. Yep, peak power, but the power delivery on your graph, power under the curve basically. Ugh. Yeah, and there's also the heads that have the crown on it, nice if that's what you mean by the Christmas tree. But there's heads that have the crown which also have the bigger, slightly bigger valves, I think, from memory, that they apparently are the ones to go with. Adam, it won't be with this turbo. I won't need gas because it's a baby. But if I go a bigger turbo, it will depend on that turbo and yeah, basically that will start at probably a 50 shot, and then if it isn't bring it online where we want it to, or if I'm autoed at that point, it's not flashing up the converter, then we'll go bigger. Yeah, it's fair enough, Matt. Well, that's the reason why I did it, so I could, for functions, and then I can adjust and set things up myself. Like when I did this setup, I changed to drive-by-wire and everything else, and I was cable, like throttle cable before, and if I didn't have the aftermarket ECU, I wouldn't have been able to get it started because it would have no TPS input, you know, wouldn't be able to rev it or anything like that. So it does have its benefits. But a lot of people just think, oh, factory ECU, shit, I need this, when they don't. But yeah, sounds like you do for what you want. as Colin Fed said, aftermarket is better by far, but Delco is pretty capable. I should change what I said slightly. Is I was, yeah, I was trying to save you money where you might not need to spend it. What did I see there? So the retune is after I've done 500k. So next R&R, I'll definitely get the 500k's done. So that's in 2 weeks' time, and then that'll be the week there, so 3 weeks kind of. And then I'll hit Justin up and try to tee up when he's got time on the dyno. He's absolutely swamped at the moment. They've got a huge backlog of cars and still more coming in with some companies they have partnerships with for tunes, like exhaust companies that'll put a full exhaust on and sell an OTR, and then also it needs a tune to suit, so they take it to him. They're constantly coming in as well. So I'd say the full tune would be in probably 2 to 3 months, which doesn't faze me because I'm just happy because I can get in it and drive it whenever I want now, and start it whenever I want. Obviously, I want to see it make as much as it can, like you guys do, but the main thing is now is I can actually start it. So yeah. Wolf is a decent ECU though, the same as the Vipec and Link as far as I like the old versions of it. They're still capable ECUs, but yeah, it's easier to whack factory back in, and yeah, go for it. No, not many people will be running that amount. A lot of people will run like 8 to 10 psi, and the Ecotech really wakes up at about 12 psi on a GT35, so a 62mm turbo. They really start to wake up about the 12 psi, and you really start to actually notice and feel the boost. But yeah, 3 bar of boost, not many people will use that, but the ECU is capable of registering and calculating at that point. VX WAGs, I personally don't know how much NOS the factory motors can handle. Someone else here might, but I wouldn't worry about the cams as in stages. I would be figuring out what you want. I know we've obviously talked about this earlier in the stream, but figuring out what you want the car to do or how you use it, and then pick a cam suited to that. I get away from the mindset of stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, because end of the day it means fuck all. Say for example, Mesa's stage 3 cam could be complete, well generally is, but complete junk compared to say a Crow cam, a cam they have on the catalogue that they'd have like as the first in line cam. Their first line cam may be way better than Mesa's stage 3, and people might call that cam a stage 1 for that company. So it's apples and oranges. I'd more so just think about where I get out in the car now, see where your RPM generally is that you're using, and then pick a cam suited to that RPM and then what you want out of it. If it's a stock Ecotech, I wouldn't bother. You're going to gain maybe 20 horsepower. Your best bang for buck's going to be diff gears for drifting. It can get you bugger all in an Ecotech. And an L67 really, unless you're the E85 intercooled, the smaller pulley, a big mixture of things. There's not many people around that have tuned Ecotechs, and they generally go really soft or really hard on it, and both are bad. I'm hoping for anything that starts with an 8 map, so 800 plus. I'll settle for 750 plus, but 800, 850 plus on this baby turbo is what I'd like. The factory ECU will handle up to 29.5 psi. The largest HP figures out of the naturally aspirated Ecotech, I think from memory it was 280 on a dyno that was known for reading like normal, not stupid, not a Disney dyno. I want to say 320, but I might be remembering wrong, and that might have been a Disney dyno. It was a while ago, but I know I've definitely seen one at 280. So I'll give that as my answer. 280, possibly there's been higher. Whereabouts are you, Matt? Someone on here might be able to suggest a tuner. Haven't you heard that term before, corn-fed? Over here in WA, it's a pretty regular term used, Disney dyno. And no worries, Leroy, anytime. Hey, come on, man. We were actually talking about you earlier, I believe, about your reverse platinum and turbo manifolds, if I'm thinking of the right person. Good to see you jump on the stream, mate. Baz, I actually sold the A2A today. There's a drifter locally that has more use for it than me, and there's something coming for this that I need to fund. So I'll never have time to drive it. I'm denied it for a couple of weeks, but yeah, the intercooler kit is gone, sadly. But I've still obviously got the charger and the snout. I'm not getting rid of that. Yeah, it sucks. I did really want to continue with that, but I've missed so many events so far. I've never got out to a drift event yet. It was better off. His IATs are through the roof. He drifts every event, so I was like, well, he's a mate. I can help him out. It sucks, but yeah. But I've still got the motor, the charger. He's going to give me his charger bolts because obviously the thick kit comes with the longer bolts go right through. So I'll probably still run it like that. It just won't be intercooled, and I'll go a smaller pulley. Well, that's it. I'm only here for a week, and the weeks that I am here, I seem to miss every event. It always seems to be the weekend after I've just flown out, or it's a weekend just before I fly back home. It sucks. But you know, if I come back in the point where I've finished a lot of things and I'm financially ahead again a lot, then all I have to do is just buy a intercooler plate and I'll be back where I was. So yeah, there's always a point in the future. I've got no idea about the secret squirrel stuff just yet. It's up to the person who's sorting it, and when you're ready for your secret squirrel stuff. Oh, so from where you are 9 hours, yeah, right. I wouldn't even go an hour, so it's understandable. Like Cornfed said, you might just need to just jump in and do it. You can always hit Cornfed up, or myself. Cornfed's way more experienced than I am at tuning, on advice on a timing map or whatnot, and then you can just sort your fueling out. You may even be able to hit up Wolf, or who they call Shenanigans to now, for a base map, and you go for your timing map. You adjust your fuel map to suit from there. Well, there you go, boosted. Try to jump on that then. If Baz is going there, then Barry from Brushworks, and yeah, that'll be the way to do it. Craig, that might be an answer for Baz Spec and Evan if he's still on the stream, I haven't had experience myself with the mini blizzards. These guys might know more. Bazspec, maybe I should head down when he's there, just to show up and see his reaction. Cool, that's handy to know, Baz. Cheers. Fuel tech seemed to be really good. From what I've seen, have been great. The only one thing I've seen constantly pop up is, I don't know if you guys watch Rob Dahm, but apparently their boost control, because it's all about PID, I believe, and if you're not fluent, however you say it, in that, then you'll really struggle. Because as he explained it, usually with boost control, say if you're just targeting the boost pressure, you put that in, and then that would be what it goes, but this is just targeting the pressure it sees on top of the wastegate, which is completely different to what your intake manifold sees or your motor sees. So they're really good, but the boost control needs to be dumbed down for your average workshop and user. Baz, I think it's just he doesn't like that I just speak my mind, or I'm just, I guess some people would say it's rude and abrupt. I'm just straight to the point, don't sugarcoat shit or whatever, which is understandable, but I get bored at work or at home and I just scroll and I just feed it back to people. That's stupid shit being asked 1,000,000 times a day. Yes, I understand the corn fed, but like I've been saying to you in our combos, there's no set time when mine's happening either. So it could be this year, it could be next year, who knows. Like I said, I'm just happy I'm driving my car again. That's kind of like on my mind, but not at the front. Plus, Baz, also, obviously you guys are part of the original scene. I mean, I came in, 7, 8 years ago, whatever, and obviously you guys have learned a lot more and experienced a lot more, and I've just come in and I've just started feeding people, which I understand why he would be annoyed at that, but at the same time I don't give a fuck. But, yeah, I just like him to pipe up in person to me, that'd be great. Hey there, Swag. So I just use a GoPro Hero 8. So right now I'm actually using my phone for the live stream. It's a Samsung S21 Ultra or whatever the fuck it is. It's just the front camera, which what I'm viewing on my laptop seems clear enough. I'm not sure if you're watching on a big TV how it goes, but my videos I use a GoPro Hero 8 Black, whatever. I've messed around with a couple of settings to try and make it look decent and be light enough in here, but yeah, that's what I use anyway. I don't know how it ends up after the video editing program does its thing. Yeah, it's fair enough, Confer, that you've had a working motor for years and years, so we probably went forged around the same time, I think, but nah, you were before me, but I've just not been as fortunate. Like I was saying earlier, I haven't actually driven the car yet. A few things have stopped me, just I don't want to get yellow stickered or defected. So I haven't risked it because it's not worth it, especially after all the efforts. But so far I've had no leaks. I literally just unscrewed everything, took the ABS out, bent the lines to suit, got an adapter to go into the master, screwed it in, bled the system, and it's been fine. And it really neatened the bay up. Like I grinded off the mount that the ABS sat on and whatnot, and it looks really good. But yeah, if I do go for a drive tonight, I'll find out what the brakes are like, and if not tomorrow. But so far so good. Didn't take long, it's worth it. If you do that, you will need an M12 by 1 adapter to, I don't remember what size it was. Hit me up on Facebook or whatever and I'll find the part I ordered. Yeah, I've had a hard run, but it's hard to say because it hasn't been my fault, but I didn't have much work at the time, so things were kind of rushed. Like at the time I thought it was still solid and whatnot, like my forged motor braking, that's completely unlucky. It had nothing to do with me or the guy who built it or anything. Just the timing change snaps. For no reason, there's no reason at all why it would have snapped, but it did. Yeah, and then obviously my work was up and down until I went fly out, and it's been pretty good since then, but I've had a hard run. There's guys that haven't got to my level though, so I'm very lucky still. Oh sweet, so it looks clear in a 70-inch and that's alright. I did try to set up with a GoPro, but it was just a hassle. Later down the track, if the channel grows and the streams seem to be a constant thing people like, I might invest in a proper camera, or even set up a different program which uses the streaming service that then streams to YouTube or whatever, like Cornfed Boost does and a lot of other channels do for their live streams, and then it'll be better then, but for now, phone works. Yeah, boosted photo, that's exactly it. Like, yeah, what I comment, I might be a complete cunt, but as my extent of knowledge, I'm saying exactly what I know, what I believe to be true, or I've experienced, and the same questions get asked day in, day out, and people don't search. So I'm just blunt. I just give them an answer. I just tell them to do the research, or ask for right questions of the right people. Because that's how I learnt what I learned. I researched as much as I could, and I asked the right questions after I searched and couldn't find the answers and whatnot. But yeah, I'm the same in person. I don't sugarcoat shit. I just get to the point. How many motors am I on now? So, alright, I'll count them. Bought the car with a slipping clutch when I was a 4th year apprentice. It was like a present to myself for finishing my apprenticeship, like 2 months out from finishing. Obviously being young and whatnot, I was always trying to get a boost, and it was a smashing limiter, so I cracked the top of the piston, bought a wrecking yard stocker. That one made 421 horsepower, had injectors fail, that wasn't mechanical, I sent my injectors off to be tested, they were 30%, it was like 39% variance in the lowest injector to the second lowest. One was way out, so that one went. Then I bought a forged motor off a mate's car that got fucked at a shop. The guy absolutely fucked him because cosmetically damaged his car, and the ECU wiring was horrid. The timing chain snapped, so I was out with that. I bought an L67 stocker. I put all my stuff on just so I could move the car around again instead of pushing it everywhere. Then a semi-forged motor popped up, really cheap, so I got that. That never blew up. That was fine. I actually sold that to, I can't think of his last name, but Dan. He's actually selling that motor at the moment. Dan's one of the admins of Turbo V6 Commodores. He's one of the originals he had a black Turbo VS Commodore. Made 617 horsepower on a factory L67 bottom end. But anyway, had that motor, and then I bought one that's in this. So I guess this is the 7th motor the car has physically seen since I've owned it. But only two had blown up. One piston crack, it was still running, it just had a bit of a click sound to it. Yeah, one sent a rod out the block on one side and the sump out the other because injectors failed. No, not Dan Wild. He's got red hair. He bought Luke's old Statesman. He had a black VS Commodore with a Getrag. It made 617 that Brushworks tuned. And then I believe he bought the heads or the bottom end of from Craig. And then he sold all that off and he has a red Stato that he's parting out. Dan West, that's it. Yeah, Dan West. So the semi-forged motor, I bought off a guy in WA who has Slug 6, which isn't really active on social media. That made 700 horsepower before I got it. I had it, and I sold that to Luke, who then, in a time before it got posted to him, he sold the car to Dan ended up with the motor. I'm going to catch up on the comments here. Yeah, it's only going in 720p for the front camera. I probably could switch it around and have the rear one, but which I probably will do for the next one. I mean, that should be in 4K, or it films in 8K actually, but I think it'll be in 4K. Well, that's awesome, Matt, that you saw corn-fed myself and decided to take that route. That's pretty cool. The reason I started YouTube is because of corn-fed. I obviously had my other channel, Reese K94, that I just put little videos up, but then I was watching corn-fed and Boost built Garage, and I was like, oh, I might do the vlog style, and it's been my life now for 2 years, or 2.5, whatever, and it's been awesome. Yeah, it was a double row Rollmaster chain. Don't know why it snapped. Like, it ran in my mate's car. He had a L67, A2A, whatever. He works at engine machining. I used to work at engine machining services, so he's an engine machinist, and he's the guy who assembled this motor for me. Obviously assembled his own that I bought off him and whatnot, and it ran in his car for like 3 years, completely fine. It was in mine for like 6 months, completely fine, and back before me and the Misso built this house, I was staying at her parents' house one night because I had work like 10 minutes from her house. Went to start it in the morning, it started like half a rotation and clunked. I thought the starter died, but yeah, it was actually the valve had dropped when I started it, or when I turned the car off, because I drove it and turned it off. So it happened when I started, I turned the car off, but yeah, the valve had dropped and obviously wedged itself and locked the motor up, because I found that out once I got back to mine. I could rotate it half backwards and then half forwards. Yeah. There's a couple guys that run EMS in some old VNs here in WA. I'm not too sure everywhere else. Alright, sweet, so I'll try streaming 1080. On the next one, I'll flip my phone over so it's using the rear camera. Yeah, Cohen, man, it held 617, but he barely drove the car and just rolled into it. Some people have luck with them, some people don't. Yeah, Craig, I run the BBG remote filter relocation kit. No issues so far, and it was kind of cool being able to crank the oil pressure up a little bit. I think I went like a quarter to half a turn extra preload on the spring, so I think what I saw, I have like 68 to 72 PSI of oil pressure at idle, which is really good because my previous setup, it started to go really low. I'd have like 60, I was like 50 or 60 cold, and sometimes I'd go down to 10 warm, whereas now it's still hanging at like 58, 60, 68 PSI warm. I have to check when I go for a drive. But the kit's quality, can't fault it. Yeah, that's it, Baz. But all the info now is there because you guys have been through it all back in the day, and obviously I've gone through it, and a few others have gone through it, and whatnot. Like, as many of you would know, I post everything online as much as I can. I spam shit across all the pages. I got my own build page and whatnot. I try to put out the info or this and that with my cunty comments, but people still won't search. They will just ask the same question we got asked 10 minutes ago in the post right below. They just need, like you said, to be fucking spoon fed. You're a bad influence. I haven't heard of anyone having any issues with a stock oil pump. I know a lot of people put the oil pump gears in from Mace. I bought the Mellings oil pump kit, which is basically the same. I think every other time before I ran a Mace one, but no one's needed to go to a dry sump yet, as far as I'm aware. Hey Freshers, how you going? I'm either going to keep this stream going for a little bit or I'll go for another hour like last time. I went for 3 hours, so yeah. We'll see how many people keep commenting and engaging. Yeah, the comment pages are bad for that, but especially the L67 and Turbo V6 ones out of them all. Because you get a lot of P-platers on them. They're all young, they just think the world owes them everything per se, and they want to spend the least amount of money but have the most outcome out of it. Boosted Forerunner, yours isn't the one. Your initials are B and T, but Justin tuned it. Any chance, is it? There is heaps of info online. There's older forums and PCM hacking. There's a wealth of knowledge on it. Not just that, even just the Facebook groups we have. If you just use the search function. Yeah, I've seen your marketplace post stuff, and I've obviously seen your car on Justin's page and whatnot. It was a cool build. I did like that. I think Chris Capes knows you or knows of you as well. Yeah, $5 to 500 horsepower does sound good, and yeah, it is too expensive. People want to spend fuck all. Especially for tune. People just don't want to tune. Let's go, oh, fucking my mate's mate fucking slapped it on, ran 10 PSI and it was fine. Fucking did 10 sets. And then threw a rod. Yeah, no shit. Big surprise. Stock injectors, no idea where they max out at. I wouldn't even bother with any boost on them. I think the L67 ones are like 280 horsepower with the M90. I believe with the turbo will be different because the power delivery is different. There you go, 200 little kilowatts-ish. And that's it, yeah, the tune is more important than the build. If you don't have a good tune, your car's junk. It's going to drive like junk, it's going to be reliable, and it's just forever going to be a question mark above your head. Yeah, boosted for it. I've seen Justin's post on the BYE performance page, and then I think I've seen it a couple of times on Facebook, but I've also seen your post with for sale parts on Marketplace, which I've viewed a couple of times. Yeah, Jay, those pages have a lot, and you guys would have had a good break recently because I think for 2 weeks, Brushworks blocked me across all those pages, so you would have had no fucking cunty comments going. You would have had a lot of people asking the same stupid fucking questions with no answers. All good freshers, I just said, how you going? Yeah, Baz, we might have to sort out, maybe not this year because how things are going with everything, but like a big meet where give people plenty of notice that they can all, come across to whatever state works for everyone, and if it's like a track day or big pub feed or whatever, just get, all the originals and whatnot, and the middle ground and some newbies and whatnot. It'd just be cool to meet everyone instead of just a name on a page. I don't know if that's something people would be interested in, but could be interesting. Could be a few arguments at least. Another drink is never a bad idea. Just cracked one myself. There you go, 20 years worth of info already on there, and people just won't fucking use the search button or look in the files. Everything's there. Oh, you sold... Oh, sorry, just hit... There we go, we're back. Hit the 2-hour mark, it restarts it. You sold your BA. Look, a barrow is always good, but I reckon keep it eco for now. Yeah, I thought I saw you selling everything boosted Forerunner, and then it was like back to standard, and then I saw it turbo again. I was like, what the fuck's this guy doing? Adam, are you talking about my turbo manifolds? Your Rocky Nuts could be good, corn fed, but I don't know if everyone's interested in that. So Adam, my intake manifold I got custom made. I didn't get it done through ProFlow. Obviously I got the idea and inspiration from George, but I bought the top lid myself, and then I sent it with a limb, my throttle body and like the throttle body mounting welded on plate, to a local alley specialist down here, and got him to just, like, graft it on for me. I paid nowhere near 2.5K. Yeah, I also got him to weld an extra plate of alley at the back so I could drill and tap. But yeah, I paid even less than half of 2.5K for it, all up. Is Jim Bob still around? Like, I've seen him maybe once every 6 months make a comment, but I knew he used to be pretty big in the scene. But has he sold everything, or is he just part of the group now? That's good, it's running good now though. Yeah, right, so a lot of people said they'd come and they never did. I guess that could be very disheartening and you'd not want to go through that effort for fuck all people to rock up. But I don't know, I don't know, maybe now we could push it a bit more with some more platforms. Obviously you've got your Gaskets fabrication, I can push it on here. If Cornfed's keen, he can push it on his channel, and then you know you've got New South Wales, WA, Queensland, all pushing it. Might something, yeah, could be something. Yeah, cool. See, Cornfed would be happy to promote it. It'd just be cool, just to meet everyone and catch up. Get us some fucking fisticuffs. Yeah, especially while the borders are open, because we'll see how long that lasts. See you later, Jay. Cheers for jumping on the stream. I've noticed a lot of the guys have something to do with the PCM hacking, aren't really, what do you call it, active on the Facebook groups, which I probably don't blame them with the shit that goes on there, but yeah, there's not too many to cross. Yeah, I agree with that. Just go to the pub. That's all we need. Just drinks, feed. There's going to be fuck all people bringing a car into state just for that anyway. We get even less people than coming, but everyone can do a weekend away, so it might work. See you later, Matt. Cheers for jumping on. Hey, Ev, good to see that you're back. Freshest, is that about you selling your BA? Did you hear my response to that? I'm on my TV now. Ooh. Household's watching. Big Ed, we're possibly, well, not possibly, I was just saying it'd be cool, maybe end of the year or next year or something, we organise like a 3.8, you know, Ecojet L67, whatever, like a catch-up type thing. We just pick a state that works everyone. Like Baz said, New South Wales worked pretty well. We just head to a pub, have a couple of drinks, catch up, meet, and then it's just be cool to talk cars with the same platform, and it's not just a name and a picture on a computer screen or phone. But it's basically about it. There's just been a couple more questions about how to go about builds and whatnot. Okay, Freshers, I was just saying, nah, keep your VY Eco. It would be cool. Obviously, barrows are amazing, but a few people doing barrow swaps now, I reckon. Keep it Turbo Eco and find another cool chassis for your barrow, or if you get another Ford or whatever, keep it for that. Yeah, we did say that, Big Ev, but I think you get even less people coming if I had to transport a car or whatnot. And from what Baz said, is last time a track was organised with Tarks, I think he said, set it up, like fuck all people turned up. There was like 4 or 5. I'd be all for a track day though, like as long as there's beer in the pub after, because I need beer. I live on it. Yeah, Adam. Pretty much most of us run that, the SFI rated. One because you need that for the RPM. Even the aftermarket, just like power button replacements, only good for about 6,400 RPM. What's all they're rated to, and then they're still known to break. Yeah, that's true. Boosted, they probably would have been sick of it from back in their forum. They don't want to come on, and I guess they're all mature gentlemen these days and don't want to deal with fucking 18-year-olds 24/7 asking the same stupid fucking questions. Oh, I put a turbo on it, it's only running 7 PSI, I didn't tune it, now it's making this noise, what is it? I just want to do this. How can I turbo my car? I've got $1,000. I can what, cunt? Fucking tune isn't even that. Yeah, well, it's not. I get a laugh out of it, just seeing people just go off at my replies. That entertains me, but it's also my inbox. Like every day I get about 20 message requests from people asking for advice on stuff. And it's the same stupid fucking shit they make a post on as well. Which is like, really? Like, I've just started at this point Googling their question and then sending them the link to that Google search, and like the first or second link has their answer right there. I'm just like, here you go, cunt. Was that difficult? Yeah, I don't blame you. I bring myself into 100%, but like I said, I get bored at work or fucking at home or whatever, and I'm just like, fuck it. I start scrolling, and I'm like, yep. This is how it is. Well, that's all Facebook really is. I don't care about the like, you know, the Facebook friends or their life stories and posts. Like, I use it as a tool. The Facebook groups are a tool. That's how I learn the stuff that I learn. By reading people's, when there are decent questions and whatnot, or people have issues that haven't been answered a million times, I read them, read the answers, because then I know. And I've learned it. So if I come across that, then I know. But then apart from it, yeah, I just get, I get my form of amusement from it. Got to somehow. Nah, Freshest, you're alright because you ask the right questions and it's not the questions that are constantly asked all the time. So don't stress about that. Baz must love that. Give you all the part numbers and then you just go elsewhere. Oh, do it yourself. No, you don't need the bait at all. I don't know if this is a term all of Australia uses or if it's just a WA thing, but there's a lot of fucking snowflakes out there. Adam, I haven't thought about that fully. Like, I just had these heads done, so like, yeah, I could go to L67 heads, but then I'd have to get everything done again, and it's expensive and whatnot. Um, there could be something done in the intake manifold, maybe. That's only because my tuner doesn't like the 2200cc injectors, because they're not an E85 or petrol injector, they're an LPG one, and they are stupidly huge. I haven't thought it through yet. What I want to do is stay with 2200s because they'll make the power I want it to, and everything's all set up and works. But I'll cross that path if I need to. I can't really give a clear answer on that just yet. But the easiest option would be L67 heads, Ecojet in lower intake manifold. Then you got 12 sets of injector ports, just custom make your rails to suit like the mounting points. I'd have to change fuel lines and everything as well. Yeah, knowledge is key, that's it. And the amount that I've fucking spammed you for questions as well, and all my knowledge, it all helps. Sweet, so everyone knows about the snowflake thing. That's it, Bigger. But you've described that pretty well. That the people that actually want to learn, like the people that actually want to learn, I've had actually a lot of times where they've asked the same question and then I just drill them like usual, and then they inbox me and they apologise and ask the right way, or they ask again, like, look, I actually want to know, and then I do help them normally. So yeah, there are people that do want to know, and like you said, people want to make a name for themselves and whatnot, but you need to just get your fuckwits. That's it, Baz Spec. Like, I don't have any time of the day for those people. I can't deal with snowflakes. Yeah, the confed my tuner likes to use the 1650 injectors. So if we ran two, and I could run like 1000s and 1250s, or two sets of 1250s, which are E85 dedicated or made for injectors and whatnot, which was the point he was getting at. Not that it's needed for the flow, just that he's not a fan of the LPG injectors. And then also, it's such a huge injector, and then your VE tables got tiny fucking numbers you're adjusting for drivability. Come on, you can't, if you're in WA, you can't drink a VB when you got to export. That's it, both their builds, Baz, are insane. I love seeing pictures of them. You can just tell that the time and effort and care's gone into it. It's not slapped together. Yeah, I agree with you there, corn fed. Like, that's why I said if I had it more, like, it probably will just stay exactly as it is. But when we were discussing things and whatnot, that's how he expressed how he would prefer to do it. Only purely because of my power goals on what's to come. If I was staying this motor and everything, then he'd want me just to go just obviously the single stage, and then 1650s will get you roughly, I think we said like 960. Go tap out at 80%. How it is, Bloody Thomas? Out of curiosity, if you know, or a rough ballpark figure. You're talking about smart young man. What's young? His early 20s. Oh, well, good on him, man. If he's early 20s and he's doing everything right like that, then we need more of that in the world. Fucking stages. Like, we had a big talk earlier, I think, while you were going over about stages of cams. The guy was asking about best combo to go with a stage 3 mace cam or stage 2 or whatever. Yeah, that's it. Corn fed on. Like, yeah, like I said, I want to stay with it as it is, but yeah, he was just saying how. I guess he was saying if he built it how he would do it purely because he just doesn't like those injectors, which I understand, but it's just so much extra effort, especially when I got the heads done. You know, if it was before I got the heads done, I would have found L67 heads, sent them off, got the ports blocked if I didn't need them, and yeah. It is. That's what we were saying as well, Big Ed. We're just saying, like, say Mace's stage 3 cam, they call it their stage 3 cam, but it might be smaller specs than say like a Crow cam on their catalog, which is like the first cam in the catalog. Like, Crow's first cam in the catalog might be bigger spec than Mace's stage 3, so then people call that Crow cam a stage 1. So then you got a stage 1 cam that's bigger than a stage 3. I'm like, it's just a term used. It means fuck all. I don't go off stages. Go off what the cam is designed to do, where the power band is, how it utilises air in, air out, and how your car, well, where your car is going to be, like your RPM range, what you're using it for. That's basically what we're getting at with that. I don't know if I'll need more headwork. Like, this has had everything done to the heads that can be done. for the cast heads. There's nothing else. Oh god, I remember that lumpy cam idle switch came around. Ghost cams, yeah, I still to this day get a million inboxes for people asking me to lumpy idle tune their so and so. Crow, mate, Platinum Series 1/6 ratio rockers. What is that to suit though? I've never looked past the Yellow Tower ones because they've served well. But yeah. I did bring that up myself, but the point of those videos were to show the people, there's most of the people that were just like, oh, I want to buy a cam, show me your idle is your cam and what cam is it so I can buy it because I want that idle. I was like, well, you can make the idle sound certain ways. And I was like, here's a dead stock car, it has 330,000 on it, it's got 3 bottles of head gasket in a bottle through it, and I've just adjusted the tune for it to sound like it. All I've done is taken the exhaust off after the cat, that's it. And it lumps its head off. That was the point of the video, that every peep hater and the dog was like, oh fuck, lumpy idle, flames, I want it. That's pretty cool though, Bastet, because everyone, now when you say Bloody Thomas, we all think straight away of his build. So that's kind of cool. So if he was to jump on the YouTube game, that'd be pretty cool. His channel could be called Bloody Thomas, and or not, then yeah, it could work because it'd be some good exposure. Sometimes nicknames work like that. Yeah, it's a big ad they do, but the only way I could get the factory is because I don't know the hex coding. I've never researched that, so I couldn't adjust stuff like that. But just what was in front of me, the way I had to do it is when it gets very hot, it just becomes a flamethrower. So yeah, there's no way around that. To get it to lump, when it gets hot, it will throw flames. Especially at night time. Daytime you might not see, but night time it always will. Yeah. But yeah, there's no overrun flames put in that tune per se. But the full exhaust, it's alright though, because you know, the 6-banger doing a decent skid, and then it looks like a big methanol skid car that's always just blowing flames out the back, but it's just a shitty V6. So it looks cool. But I know all these people are going to try put it on their daily, or they try to daily the car and this and that, or someone's fuel tank will light on fire and they're like, oh, this guy did this, and then they might sue me, or it's on, I don't have a conscience or a heart, but you know, but it's on my conscience that someone fucking died in a flame or whatever. It's just not worth it. It was to prove a point, and it went very viral, which I wanted to do, but then it went viral for the wrong reasons, which, like Cornfed said, I brought it myself. Copper gaskets and copper firings are better. There's people say after like 27 PSI on the Buick Eco game, the kinetics won't hold, but some people have made 30, 35, 40 PSI boost, but yeah, as Confed said, firings are the way to go. Are you talking about the lumpy idle with the flames boosted? Oh, that's my mentality, Big Ed. If he dies, he dies. But one thing I did come across though is I've got a car out in Whoop. It's 3 hours northeast of here. Misso's dad's mate owns 160 acres, and that's where the car is that I did it on. Well, I didn't have access to that. I was going over the tune and whatnot and looking through it, and there was a guy, I don't remember what state he was in, they were sending him the folder try on his farm hack, and when I got it to work perfect, like it drove me, which was one issue I had. It would down low, it would really die, and then pick up, it wouldn't drive nice, but now I've got that dialed in. It's just like a factory car, just lumps. I was sending that to him, and then once that was done, he changed like the thermofan settings on it, and then posted up on PCM hacking as his own, and posted the tune file there for people to download, which I didn't want because I spent 6 months on that, dialing in, getting it nice. That was my hard work, whatnot, that he just put up for everyone to get, and I was just like, well, no, that's not how this fucking works. Fucking went off at him, got him to remove it and whatnot. We're all good after that, but yeah, I don't even remember the initial point of this. If he dies, yeah. But there's also that people can, I could SME various to you, I can send it back to them with it, and they can download it and upload it and claim it as their own, and then it's just everywhere, which I don't exactly want for now, at least anyway, which is kind of selfish, I guess, but I put the hard yards in to do it, so yeah. Yeah, so Boosted, if you search my TikTok, I think it's Reese K94 on there. I've got multiple videos. There's a few videos on the Lumpy Idol and Flames and whatnot. Otherwise, on Reese K94 YouTube channel, I've got other videos there and whatnot. And I think on this channel here, RKGarage, I've got a couple, one or two on it as well, like why I won't sell it. I think there's a video called Why I Won't Sell It to the Public or whatever. That shows a bit. Yeah, because I guess intellectual property, in a sense, yeah, it's just because people want it for the wrong reasons, or then they'll try to sell it and make money, whereas this and that, and I spent months dialing it in, making it perfect. No worries, Adam. The next stream will be in 3 weeks because I fly to work for 2 weeks, but really, I'm glad that you own something because that's one of the main reasons I want to start doing streams. Yeah, good platform for people to ask questions and learn stuff. There's a lot of knowledgeable people on here, which is good. Yeah, Craig, that's what a lot of people do, but a lot of people put them in the block rather than the heads, unless if you're talking about receiver grooves in the heads, as well as the block being done. Yeah, I only downloaded TikTok to start uploading videos when I did that Lumpy Idol tune. I think that was one of my first ones. I think I put a couple up of drifting in the DIY, but I think it was when I was really trying to grow my YouTube channel. When I was under 1,000, it was like 750 subs, so I was trying to really bump it up there, which obviously I still am. I'm only at 1,600 or something, but it did help. Like, I think I posted the video and overnight I think I got 49,000 views on the video, which is insane. That'd be bad. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I use it as a tool. I don't sit there and scroll on it. I just upload videos and then watch. I've had people argue for like 3 days straight about some of my posts on there. It's insane. There's like 10 people just commenting and arguing on the same comment and video. Yeah, that's it, Boost. I stayed away from it for as long as I can, but I've stayed away from Twitter. I still refuse to get Twitter. I just don't like. Facebook is way more than enough and that I need. And I don't do that Twitch shit that a lot of people are doing. It's something I probably won't else do, but yeah, I gave in and uploaded it on TikTok because it seems to get a lot of views. I think I think I uploaded a video, got like 50,000 views in a night, and I did the same thing the next day, and I got like 38 in a night, and then they upgraded me to a business account, so I could make money off it if I needed to or whatever. So I guess it works. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Facebook, because obviously, what did you have back in the day, MySpace and whatnot, and then that fizzled out and Facebook came. It's like, will there be another one, or will Facebook keep changing to ways people don't like? And if I don't have to see people's fucking breakfast, dinners, and lunches, that'd be great. And baby photos, I could not give two fucks about your kid or what you ate. Just if it just had like Facebook groups, that'd be. If there's like an app that was just Facebook groups, that'd be perfect for me. Yeah, well, a couple of the apprentices that I've had at work, they don't even use Facebook. Like they just all like, you know how a lot of people use Facebook Messenger to talk to people. I use Facebook Messenger myself to talk to people, like, rather than text, or obviously still phone call and whatnot when you need to. But I don't text or anything, or I don't WhatsApp or that bullshit. I just Facebook Messenger. But all the young ones, they use Snapchat to talk. That's all they message by Snapchat. I'm like, that makes no sense to me. But yeah, times change. Potato Smileys, like I remember them. I think they're still going. Yeah, Snap has been around for years, but they use that as the main form of talking to each other. Whereas before, people use that just to send photos. Now that is their messenger. There's nothing wrong with being old school. The point is that you're able to adapt, which is a good thing. Cheers for jumping on, coming man. Oh, that's cool, Baz. I didn't actually know that you had people working for you as well. That's quite cool. Kent doesn't even know that a phone rings. That's gold. Oh, you didn't think the kids knew a Snapchat? No, man, that's like they don't use text message, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. They use Snapchat. That's how they talk to each other. Like that's only how they talk to each other. Yeah, the clickbait ones do. I try to stay away from it, but obviously with like the flames and all that, I obviously I clickbaited that a little bit because I knew that would bring the views in, and then I tried to get them across to here on YouTube, which didn't really work. But yeah. Ah, right. So what you do in your shed or garage, well, is that all out of hours? See you later, Cornfed. Cheers for jumping on. Try with your, like I said, your Facebook page has grown, so try post, once your videos go live, post links and whatnot on that page, and even on all the L67 pages, do what I do and just spam it. Well, I don't know if there's like like VT Commodore Facebook groups or VTVX, VU, if they have all combine it, post them on there as well. Just spam it, especially if you have maybe not every time, but if you have a really good video with a lot of information or it's a really cool video, then spam it. Oh, right, cool, Baz. I always thought that what you did in your house was full time. Yeah, right, so you're on a team of 12, geez, that'll keep you busy. You're not wrong there, Boosted. It's a great tool, but it has ruined a lot of things. Fair enough. Fair enough. No, Leroy, look, like I was saying, if you're, I forgot who said it earlier, it might have been Big Ed. If you're actually wanting to learn, then any question's good. It's just if you don't do the research yourself and you keep asking the same repeated questions everyone else has. But if you're new to this area or whatnot, then yeah, it's fine. And that's what this stream is for. Um, the best forums. Look, PCM hacking has a lot. You need to use the search function though, and then you need to know where in the searching, so it can get quite technical. That has a lot of information. I think like the old Perf Commodore, the old Just Commodores pages has a lot of information. It's got like a very broad type thing. Google's always good if you have a question or a thing. Type that and just open as many links as you can till you can find what you can, if it's there. Otherwise, L67 Torque, L67 Turbo, L67 and Turbo V6s. There's a search button there. It looks like a magnifying glass. If you click that and then type your question or a keyword, like say if you have a fuel pump issue or whatever, instead of typing a whole question, just type fuel pump and it'll come up with stuff. Or there should be a files tab, or you click the three dots or something, and then you can click files, and then it should have some files there you can open and whatnot. That's probably the best way to avoid all the fuckwits. Oh, that's alright then, Baz. It's not too bad. Oh, yeah, that's a classic one, Baz. It's just like, oh, I wanted this 10 psi pulley, but it's only seeing 6. Like, oh, what's wrong? What's wrong with my motor? Where are boost leaks normally found? I got my heat wrap from Cool Wraps. Cool Wraps with a K. The black still always loses its colour apparently and goes to white. Later down the track, I'll be ripping the turbo manifold off and dump pipe, and I'll get them powder coated, ceramic coated. Turbo manifolds in black, or the darkest colour they do, whatever that is, and the dump pipe in a chrome type colour. Yeah. A spade, a shovel. It's called a fucking shovel, cunt. No worries, Vaz. Cheers for jumping on the stream. I'm probably going to end it pretty soon as well, within 2.5 hours. Oh, Sunday night ice cream. Treat yourself. No dramas, Big Herb. Cheers for jumping on. Probably going to end the stream as well. We're dying in numbers now pretty quickly. Yeah, I'll probably close this off now. So cheers for jumping on the stream, and I'll see you guys on the next video. I'll figure out how to fucking turn this thing off.